Oh, it's been said a bard's life can often be a hard life, or hill and dale to rove and always move from town to town. And some folk have inquired if ever we grow tired of ranging all around the world and never settling down.
But one should be a little wary of remaining stationary, 'cause comfortable is lovely, but it's not the way we grow. When life starts to unravel, pick up your pack and travel. You'll find a strange serenity in places you don't know. Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-doo-rat-terry-o-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road. You've got no map for showing which direction you are going.
But why start on a journey if you know where it will end?
And once you recognize,
to anticipate surprise, you'll relish every twist and turn that lies around the bend. Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-doo-da-terry-o-dee-da-dee-da-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. La-da-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. La-da-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. The world has got its demons. There are many reasons why you'd find it harder to be brave than be afraid. But every life could use some danger. Every friend was once a stranger. Ships are safe in harbor, but that's not why ships are made.
Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-doo-da-terry-o-dee. Dee, a fwit-dee-dee-dee-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Da-da-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Adventures waiting further down the road. Let's go! Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. La-da-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. La-da-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie.
So I tried to do the countdown, and I couldn't get it to work.
You tease.
You caught me chewing.
You tease us with the countdown.
So
Should we just do it? Should we do it analog?
here we are.
Cubby, should we do a countdown? Should we just do it analog? 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24.
You caught me chewing. Did no one make
4,
the sacrifice to Mercury today?
What's happening?
23,
22,
22,
21,
21,
20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15. Come on, everyone, you know the words. 14, 13, 12, 11. Sing with me. 10, 9, 8,
11.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
9.
Great job, everyone.
This is going really well. I would like everybody to know that I have lit a candle for Mercury, so I'm hoping that today will go a little smooth. Can just
they go so
keep
fast.
that in mind.
It's hard to tell because they're the messenger.
Hermes, Mercury, whatever you want to say, is the bitch in charge of technology and communication. So sometimes I feel like astrology is really just about how to speak to your middle manager. Like you know that you have to kind of when you have a crappy job and you know you have to kind of manipulate your middle manager because they're not the boss and they're not the lowest and they have middle management syndrome, which is just that it's that like prison guard mentality of like I have a little bit of power and I'm not the lowest. Sometimes I think that like when you light candles for the gods or when you're like paying attention to astrology, it's like that game where you're trying to petition or manipulate the middle manager. Not the great creator, not the like not that, just the guys that are doing. It's like when you ask the Virgin Mary for help instead of going straight to Jesus. I feel like we're in a middle manager negotiation.
Yeah. I'm more of I'm into like nature science God ideas. So like no middle management, no management at all. Just like, would this animal like to be scratched behind the ears? I have fingers that can do that. And that's
Nice.
sort of, I think, the purpose of humans.
This morning, we're so off track already. Just this morning, I watched a reel on Instagram of a sea lion hiding on a boat from a pod of orcas that were circling it. And this woman was on her boat and she literally was like, honey, you have to go. You can't be here. Like to the sea lion. She's like, where did you even come from? And she looks around and she moves her phone and there's 6 orcas.
She's like, oh no.
That are flowing and like roiling around her boat because they're like, I know I saw that freaking sea lion. And the sea lion's like, I can't go. I can't leave right now. Please don't make me go outside right now.
The puppies of the sea.
So that makes me wonder if the libertarians took to the ocean.
No, they keep trying.
Would they be killed by orcas instead of bears?
Are orcas the bears of the sea? They might be.
Exactly what I was going to ask. And I have an even more important question for you, Shoshi. Because today we're Coffee and Crafting with Shoshi&Cubby, also known as C&C with S&C. Have you thought about spelling your name with a leading C?
Oh, I could totally do that. Give me one.
Because then we'll be C&C with C&C.
Yeah. So
we could start manufacturing music.
You might have to pronounce it Zoshi, but I'm fine with that.
I'm gonna pronounce it Shoshi.
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 Yeah.
I'm just gonna get a lot of teeth in there.
The more teeth, the better, I always say.
I like
Hi,
where this episode
welcome
is
to
going.
Mugs and Modulators.
Hey, Mabo.
Look at that.
Hey everyone, how's it
Look at
going?
that cool arm art you have on your wall.
It's been there this whole time.
Lying in wait.
Are you going by Mabo Jabbo? Because you're a bad Mabo Jabbo.
Well, I just thought I'd have a fun little nickname today. Just why not, you know?
We're all kind of doing
But
that.
mine also starts with a C.
That's
She's technically correct.
that is technically correct.
That's kind of correct.
Oh wait, I
Don't
could
quote the rules to me. I was on the subcommittee that decided whether or not to change the color of the cover of the rules.
there we go.
Ooh.
Now it could be you start with a C and I end with a C.
Ooh.
No, that doesn't work at all.
I think it'd be
And
C
I'm
and
not
G.
going to stop saying Chochi.
We're building palindromes.
Hello, Carmel. I haven't seen you here in a while, but I have only not been here for a little bit.
I dropped in a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I'm still working on the same project. I also have a small unboxing to do today.
Ooh, that's fun.
Ooh.
Oh, Carmel, I actually have a question for you with regards to sort of costuming things. I found this, I might grab it actually. I got this really awesome, like beautiful red wool blazer. And it's like it's got covered buttons and it's like it's really great. But the I don't mind a big shoulder pad sometimes, but because it's like old and vintage, it's like an internal shoulder pads and they kind of got squished around and I have no idea how to fix it. So any advice on that would be awesome.
You're gonna have to cut open the lining.
I was worried about that.
Yeah, you're gonna have to cut open because it sounds like someone washed it.
That's probably what happened. Although
You're gonna have to cut if you gently cut open the lining right at the seams or right at usually the lining
there's one
meets
there's
at
like one
the top seam and then
Yeah.
around the arm. So
Yeah.
if you are able to, and then those are like hand stitched or top stitched down after the fact.
okay.
So those might be easier places than to put it back together again. But you're
Yeah,
gonna have to cut open the lining. And the thing is about really beautifully tailored things and vintage things. It's not just like, and we put like meat in the sandwich, it's like sewn into the garment.
That's what
so
it
we're gonna have
feels
to do some possible large deconstructing.
Okay.
But
Fine.
you can make before you sew it all back, you can take it out and then before you sew it all back up, you like check to see that it's not like floppy and weird looking without the support and put new shoulder pads on the underside so that's not lined in and hiding. So if you're like, I'm not feeling the shoulder pads today, you can just take them out.
That's a great idea. Okay, cool. Yeah, and I
No,
also
no
have to
one is the
see-
boss of you've got to use interior shoulder pads when you fix it. So
A
that's
lot
my
of
advice.
times, shoulder pads will be made out of a poly foam,
Yeah.
which will melt at a lower temperature than the outer fabric. So if you find just the right fabric, that shoulder pad will just melt through the fabric, staining and ruining it forever.
Wow.
Ask him how he knows.
That sounds like a fun time.
all right, thank you. I
Housekeeping.
was worried.
We've
Oh.
renamed Shoshi. Does everyone have a beverage?
I just
do.
finished mine,
No,
but
I
sure.
don't.
Get
I
a
can go
beverage. Get a beverage. Get
Okay,
a
A
beverage.
beverage.
Get a beverage. No,
Oh,
that's not a
beverage.
beverage. That's not.
Hold on a second.
Is that cat's name
Yeah.
Beverage?
No, his name's Murder Beast.
Okay.
I mean, you could.
I don't.
You could.
I could make a cocktail called the Murder Beast.
You should.
What would be in it?
Does everyone have a craft?
You could put a little charcoal in it so that it's like
It's
the
dark.
beautiful
Yeah.
midnight black that Murder Beast is.
Right.
It would probably like, I don't know, like spicy vodka, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking something that it's bad for you. Like it's really bad for you.
Ooh, yeah.
But it tastes
yeah.
delicious.
Right.
Lead.
Yeah.
Because Murder Beast is a murdering beast, but you want to pet him.
Lead.
Oh.
Or antifreeze.
I was just gonna say
Yeah,
antifreeze
yeah.
is delicious and bad for you.
Yeah.
This is the second conversation Cubby and I have had about antifreeze tasting delicious.
I bring it up a lot.
I
I really want everyone to know how delicious antifreeze is.
It's an important fact because if you have pets or children, you have to keep that antifreeze away from them.
And
Well,
Tide
here's the
Pods.
thing. They put a bittering agent in nowadays, so you really need to get classic antifreeze. So I like to go to flea markets and buy antifreeze from the 90s.
Before they ruined it. It's like antifreeze classic versus new antifreeze.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just, I start drinking that 90s antifreeze and I am brought back to
Now,
my
if you
childhood.
want to play a really fun game, one of the things that will prevent you from getting antifreeze poisoning, should you accidentally ingest it, is to consume alcohol, specifically hard alcohol, because antifreeze itself is not actually poisonous. It's the way our body metabolizes it. And if you drink a bunch of liquor, your body, they're very similar molecularly. So your body is too busy processing the alcohol and the antifreeze will pass right through you. So, you know, you just got to figure out just the right amount of antifreeze to go and that it evens out with the alcohol in the drink. Please don't do this. Please don't do this. Please don't do this. This is wrong. You will die or go blind. Please.
Yeah,
don't do
there is a really,
Please
really
don't.
high risk of going blind with that.
Don't even think about it.
And just some guy just make a sacrifice without any alcohol in it.
It's a virgin sacrifice.
It's just an empty glass and you stab an olive and stick it in there.
I would order that. I love olives.
Yeah.
No. It's gotta be like a low rent maraschino cherry so that it.
Oh,
there's
so there's
when it's-
bloody. Yes, you're absolutely right. It's just a glass full of maraschino cherries and a toothpick. Ow, virgin sacrifice.
It's equal parts maraschino cherries and olives.
Oh, God.
And just like virgin sacrifice, nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. All right, so
Pro
had our
and-
drink check-in.
Also,
Everybody's got a beverage.
today's trivia, I thought I'd take it easy. It is a current events trivia game.
Oh, but from what year?
Yeah, how current?
Oh,
Yeah.
I was half hoping no one would think to ask.
It's just all Seinfeld and Nirvana.
He's laughing because it's true.
It's the most
And
nice
Berlin Wall.
thing I could think of.
It's stupid and contagious.
I live right down the road from a place where Kurt Cobain used to live. Like I can see his house.
It's not the last place he used to live, is it?
No.
Okay, great.
Because that's in Seattle.
Yeah, it's where he and Courtney lived when they lived in LA. It's a cool house.
What's our trivia?
Oh, are we starting? Can we do trivia this early? We can start it.
We could.
Yeah, let's do a trivia to start it off. We say as we getting started 40 minutes into the show. We started on time. Oh no, 10 minutes, 15 minutes into the show. We started on time.
We're practically on schedule.
I believe it's pronounced schedule.
I believe it's pronounced casual.
Usual.
Casual.
While Cubby is getting
Shoshi.
picking a trivia card, Mab, what's your crafting project that you're working on?
So I have a couple of things. I have a show and tell thing, and then I want to art so bad. I just deployed Day Joblandia. I just deployed a big, huge chunk of code, and so now I'm like, and I can breathe again.
Oh yeah.
But here's a thing that I recently made that I'm not crazy about it, but I liked the artwork. So I did this artwork of vintage style. I did the original sideshow bullets.
Oh yes. Oh, it reminds me of Palace of Wonders. Oh.
And I made these are Neoprene coasters. So I printed it out on sublimation ink. For some reason, and I pressed them for a long time, the color is just not as vivid, and I don't know if that's the nature of the medium or if I need to adjust the colors or something. But I'm also not in love with the Neoprene coaster style.
Just looking at it on the screen, I don't know what they look like in person. I like the sort of faded look. It makes them look like they are of the time period.
Right. So let me see if I can call up. Go ahead.
Makes it look like the paint has like been on canvas and faded.
Yeah, I like it.
Design choice. It looks like a design choice.
Yeah, I can kind of show you the artwork.
Oh, so it's much brighter.
Look at that.
Those are so cool.
They are so cool. I hate to be contrary. I think I like how they turned out.
I know. I think I do too. I think I like the faded, but I haven't seen them in person. That's just looking at them on the screen. But I kind of like this sort of faded look.
And then the question mark only barely has some of the texture.
Oh yeah,
that's in the original artwork. And is it real? None of the texture came out.
Oh, you're right.
So
it just looks like a fade.
Yeah.
So they probably
maybe that's an older version of the thing that I printed out, but here's what the artwork is supposed to look like.
Oh yeah, it's a lot more. Yeah.
It's supposed to look like it's painted on canvas.
I mean, I do like how they look, but I see it. Yeah.
I'm being
what it's missing,
particular, but because I spent a lot of time doing the artwork and
getting all those textures in there and getting the colors right and
yeah.
So
that's a thing. I'm not making that for anything other than because I want to make it, which is unusual for me.
How nice.
And then the other part too is it's time to start a new craft, because I don't have enough things to do. So this is an embroidery kit.
Ooh.
And then this is a needle felting kit.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So my question to the audience, which one should I try? I want to have a craft that I can do while listening to audiobooks.
Is it needlepoint or cross stitch?
It is not cross stitch. I think it's stabbing needles. Like the needle thing, it's a punch needle embroidery thing.
Oh, interesting. I think you should start with that one. I've never really seen someone do that before.
That's nice. That's supposed to go pretty quick.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be better for like carpal tunnel and
other jointy pain.
Easy for beginners.
Let's
see if I can.
All right.
Needle felting is very similar in that it's just repeated stabbing.
Yeah.
Of a medium.
That's why I got both of these, because I like to stab.
What? That's the needle?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So you have a little slider thing. I've never done anything with this before.
Whoa, I've never even seen anybody do that. That's cool.
Like an EpiPen, but crafts.
And there's like different needles and thread.
You're gonna go into artophylactic shock.
Wicked Clever points out that either way you're getting blood in the art, which makes it legit. But Robert, I think you're underestimating us. We can manage to get blood into any craft.
That actually checks out.
Yep. I am for all textile art this year. That's my witchy thing this year, is to push more on the art, the textile magic with embroidery and mending and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Just like get back into it. It's in my lineage a little bit, especially my mom. She was a weaver and a felter, and I grew up like, there's photos of me in our bathtub when I was little in like big gum boots doing a giant felt piece, like wet felt piece that's as big as the tub, and we were using our feet like Lucy in the big jug of grapes. So I feel like there's fastidiousness and also kind of zen at the same time.
And there's something nice about the idea of like, repairing things and stitching things back together and creating new things from many tiny things together make a big, beautiful thing.
Yeah, I've gotten some news, downloads and information from some other witchy people that say things like, you're more of a tailor instead of starting from scratch. Like with big systems, you like support systems that exist, you refine systems that exist, you and I was like, that's actually really true. Like I've always been quite shit at like making costumes from scratch, from nothing, and like designing, and I'm really good at being like, hey, I'm in this Goodwill and I see like 2 or 4 or 7 different items and I know how to put them together to make something new. So I have this theory also about or not a theory, I have a goal to make a fairy creature that's a Goodwill fairy, like Robin Goodfellow, but it's Goodwill and it's all thrifted. It's like a modern materials fairy, all made of recycled and upcycled things.
That's awesome.
I don't know where I'm going with it yet, but it's like, I was just thinking like last year at this time we were on this channel, on this show, and I was talking about my oat milk maid cosplay. I was like, oh, I meant to make that. And then life happened. So I think I want to create more characters and do more like actual like textile based and costume based and wearable based art and magic this year. Do you guys have any goals like that?
That's a great question.
Okay, do we need to stop this because there's a really important thing that just came up in the comments.
Yes, there is.
Original Spirograph had push pins to keep it in place.
What?
How did I not know? This is why I've never been able to get Spirographs to work.
I did not know this either.
This is like, I thought it was me.
Wow.
Like the putty doesn't work at all. Sir White Bat. I will also.
I didn't even know there was putty, but I've never used a fresh Spirograph set. I grew up pretty poor, so the only Spirographs I ever played with were like the leftover junk ones in the church playroom. So I didn't even know they had putty. But there's more. There's more information. The pins were hazardous for kids.
I'm sorry. This is just.
No, this is great, but it's leading up to Sir Whitebat says that there is a plan to bring back Spirographs. And this is leading into the solution.
I also do like all of the guesses as to what Spirograph would need to do to come back. There was Tattoo Kit and Dirty Spirographs. A not safe for work kit.
Sure.
I mean, if you're really into curving lines, I guess it already is.
What's your plan? Sir Whitebat?
The strong magnets.
Okay. And then a magnetic cookie sheet is a good idea. And then you like put the paper down and then.
See, here's the thing. I think I might look to get like a hunk of corkboard and
You could
replicate
pin
the
it.
pins.
Right, that's a good idea.
I bet you could 3D print your own spirograph now.
What was that?
Said I bet you could 3D print your own spirographs now.
You totally could.
You-
I mean, someone could.
Well, I
Not
do
me.
know 3D printing small points tend to be fairly fragile, so it depends on just how good your 3D printer is.
Mm.
Those
And I
gears
guess what
might strip.
medium you use as well.
Yeah, actually, if we want to talk about the dice of the day, 3D printing is actually way better than I realized it is. Oh wait, actually, before we do that, we have someone else here.
What?
Hey!
God,
Hey.
what a magical day.
Is it? I don't
Yeah,
know.
We have a full house. Look at all these wonderful people who are here.
I have one thing to show off, and then I have to leave again because I'm fighting deadlines.
Yeah, you're in editing hell, but you mentioned you can show off the map, which
I
I'm so
can.
excited to see.
Yes.
So
And interestingly enough, everybody here has been a goblin at some point in time.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. Oh,
So, well, this
is
is-
a little. Oh, yeah.
this is the pencils. This is the hand-drawn pencil version using drafting pencils, technical pencils.
Wow.
And it's actually 2 big sheets of paper taped together because I didn't realize until my wife mentioned we actually do have huge rolls of paper,
Oh,
right? So, but to do the final stage, which is what's been set up back here behind me, I'm going to take it off very carefully because this is something that I had not done in 24 years.
oh,
This
yeah.
is drafting acetate
Ooh.
and micron pens
Ooh.
to
Nice.
get the finished
Ooh.
scannable, photographable, because you can't really scan or photograph pencils very well. You're going to get smudges and various things. So I went back over the pencils
That's gorgeous.
in the technical micron pens
That's beautiful.
on this sheet of $5. It's not even paper. It's like
Vellum.
it's vellum, but it's synthetic. It's a synthetic
Yeah.
film.
Paper-like.
It's paper-like.
I
But if
use the same stuff. They call it vellum. I use it in making lanterns and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, you can't get real vellum.
You can't get real vellum anymore. This is
Vellum is sheepskin, right?
yes.
Well, it's
Skin-like.
I think it's specifically
Sheep-like.
a membrane that protects the diaphragm.
Is it? I thought it was just
It's a
skin.
very specific, and I think it's in the organ regions.
Has something to do with an organ. Uh-oh. Here, and then I'll if you want, I'll share my screen so you can see what happens next.
Oh, somebody, Robert, somebody asked, what kind of technical pencils do you use?
They were drafting pencils, so most of that I meant to get a 0.05 because that's the lead I bought, and then I went and bought pencils, and the pencil was a 0.07. And,
Wow.
and the 0.05 lead just falls right out of the 0.07.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It just slides right out. So I didn't get to use my really thin leads. They're all 7s and 9s. And then let's see. That should.
When I learned drafting back in college for theater design,
And that's where I learned this.
yeah, my teacher taught us to use 0.3, 0.5, and 0.7, depending on what kind of line we were drawing.
Ooh.
Yeah.
0.3.
You know what? I
Yeah,
might not
that's
let
when
me-
your pencil lead is like you only have it sticking out just the tiniest bit.
Yeah,
All right.
otherwise it breaks.
Snap down.
Yeah. The
That's why I can't use mechanical pencils at all. I am too. My hands are too angry when they write. But also, I think it also has to do with that I'm left-handed. So I have a lot. There are subtle
That's
problems.
totally the whole reason right there.
Well, but it sort of is because things are designed to be pull. Like if you're writing like this, they're designed to be pulled in this direction. And when you're writing left-handed, they're pulled in the other direction. And so the wear and tear on it
Pushed.
yeah, makes it break. And like I can't use rollerball pens and I can't use mechanical pencils. And
Shoshi, they look like big, strong hands.
they are. That's the problem.
Oh, yeah.
So, Shoshi, after you talked about that on last week's episode, I think it was last week. It might have been 2 weeks. I don't know.
Yeah.
About the difference between pushing and pulling. I actually noticed that on the tracing, on copying it over to pens. There were points where I had to push so I could see the line not covered up by my hand. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I could never do this left-handed. Like the entire time writing and pushing and not being able to see what came before it. I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah, we have a lot of trust in ourselves, left-handed people.
Right.
Which is why we righties,
Are
That will pull it.
also known as correcties, because we are correct and you lefties are not.
We're awkward and sinister.
Yeah, that's why we don't trust you.
Mm-hmm.
They trust themselves. They don't need us.
Whoa, look at that.
Yep. So now what I'm doing is I didn't have to do as much cleanup as I thought I would. But the map is very flat like that. And so now I'm going in and adding the shadows of Gablonia, which is the creepy part going underneath the city, and actually filling in the buildings in different boroughs with a slightly different shade of gray. So it all pops out of the map when you see it. Now that is absolutely done digitally. That I'm not doing with crayons or anything on with my hands. But
this book artwork is done entirely with crayons.
Is well, it might have been. I actually thought the art for the book was done by hand because that's what it looks like. But then I watched the artist do a live stream one day, and it's amazing. He's got the tablet that you can draw with the digital pen on, and he's making the art, and it is drawn by hand because he's using his hand, but there's no paper involved, there's no ink involved. It's just that and the doing it on the computer. It was pretty amazing. But yeah, so that's the next step, is going in and selecting each one of these buildings until I get the entire borough, and then picking the color and doing that. So that's the last step, and that is what will get printed in the book and in a big 18 by 12 sheet for the Kickstarter backers. So they have the big map. But
That's so cool.
Fudge. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So, and I looked today because I took a picture of the map when I first put it on the drafting table back there and started drawing the very first pencil lines. That was back in May. So it's sat there for a while being worked on in fits and spurts. And then it was like, oh, deadline's coming up. We got to get this done. I bought the acetate on Saturday and have been nonstop with pens since then. And one thing I did learn so the microns are technical pens. So they're really, bye, Mab.
Bye, man.
I gotta hop off. So it was great seeing you guys. That's okay.
Yay.
Listen, nature. I'll chat with you later.
Bye. Have fun stabbing
Hey,
things
thanks
with
for
a needle.
showing off your stuff.
Oh, here, real quick. I made this. I just needle felted that. That's right.
Already?
That's in its entirety. Right
How many
there.
times did you stab yourself?
None.
Oh,
It's not finished yet.
not done.
Bye.
Not done.
It's not going to come to life with that attitude.
Yeah. So what I learned about the micron pens on acetate, they actually do smudge. So you have to be very careful not to touch them or put your sleeve on them or until they're totally dry. And if you're drawing on paper, they won't, because the paper absorbs them that quickly and locks it in. But they also erase on this film, which is awesome because you accidentally smudge it, you get out the eraser and you erase it. But if I was doing it on paper, it won't erase. Those are permanent.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep. So that was my thing to show off.
Yay.
Yay.
Do you want us to keep you here in Craftland instead of letting you go back to the world of editing and deadlines?
No, I have to go back to the world of editing, layout, and deadlines.
Sorry.
We could do a trivia card before you go.
All right,
Do
we'll do a
time for
trivia
trivia
card.
card?
We'll do a trivia
Yay.
card. All right, we'll do that.
See, I knew we were going to get back to it, Reverend Tommy.
Eventually.
What did Peter Allen, Anthony Perkins, Paul Jabara, and Denholm Elliott die of?
What category is this?
Per. So I think personalities, people.
Okay. Can you read that again?
Let me see if I have a category listing. Nope, per. The category is per.
It's per. So if it's
So
like
what-
literary, we could say heavy books fell on them. And that would.
Well, Anthony Perkins, I think we all recognize as an actor, and Peter Allen as a musician, and the other two people as people who died of the same thing.
Yeah.
Well,
But
the
what
leading
did-
cause of death amongst artists is exposure, so perhaps that's
Yeah.
what they died of.
They died of
I'm
exposure.
gonna say heart attack.
I mean, I know the answer.
This is
You're holding the
pre-COVID, right?
card.
Then
No,
no,
I
you
don't
can't
look at
say
the back
answer.
until all of the questions are asked.
What's your guess, Cubby?
It's not a guess, because when we covered Psycho, if you'll recall, I watched every Psycho movie.
Oh, right. So you really know Anthony Perkins.
Oh,
I know some Anthony Perkins facts.
I'm going to say suicide.
I also saw him in Evening Primrose, the quasi-horror musical written by Stephen Sondheim.
Oh, wow.
But I'm pretty sure it's AIDS.
Gotcha.
Oh,
All right, this one's really hard.
Uh-oh.
What Dickens classic got the Hollywood treatment from Miss Piggy and Kermit the Frog?
Oh, I mean, I'm up at Christmas Carol.
Nicholas Nickleby. I mean,
Bleak
Yes.
House.
The
Miss-
best version of A Christmas Carol.
Miss Piggy Does London.
See, obviously, we all know that Great Expectations was adapted into The Great Muppet Caper.
Yes, that is true. No, it's not.
The next category, I believe, is news.
David Muppet Field.
Treasure Island.
That was really good.
That's not Dickens. Treasure
I know.
Island wasn't written by Dickens.
Yeah, it is. It was secretly Dickens, and Robert Louis Stevenson plagiarized the whole
Absolutely. He stole the whole thing. What was the one that everybody wanted the Muppets to remake recently?
Frankenstein?
Bride.
Princess Bride. Right, the Muppet
Oh.
version of Princess Bride.
That would be pretty good.
Also not written by Charles Dickens.
Yes, it was.
No, Princess Bride wasn't.
That's right. It was written by
The same guy that wrote the screenplay. That guy.
Edgar Allan Poe.
William
No.
Goldman.
no. He only abbreviated it.
Yeah, from the original.
Have you read it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny. You should.
It's just the good parts.
It's
Yeah.
just the good part.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
he
just
cut
the
out
good
the other
parts.
parts. Yeah.
What presidential candidate claimed, "If I make a mistake, I admit it"?
1992, so
So,
Jimmy
it's-
Carter.
so it's down to 3.
Oh wait, candidate, not president.
yeah. So is it Bill Clinton?
Well, it's 1992, so it's either Clinton, Bush, or Perot.
It's Ross
Yeah.
Perot. That's who I
Yeah,
would call it.
yeah,
Ross
that's
Perot.
good. Yeah.
If I make a mistake, I admit it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that sounds right.
That sounds correct. Yeah. That was a good Ross
Definitely
Perot
not Trump.
Oh, nice to know that I have a Ross Perot in my back pocket.
That's right. For all the just in case SNL calls.
Which is good because I just have one celebrity impression.
Ross
It's all
Perot.
Ross Perot.
Jimmy Stewart.
Oh, do Jimmy Stewart.
Well, I'll ask the next question as Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah.
What quilt with 21,000 panels from 29 nations was unfurled at the Washington Monument on Columbus Day, Mary? On Columbus, you want the moon, Mary? I'll lasso the moon for you.
AIDS quilt.
I was gonna say it's the AIDS quilt, but why did they do it on Columbus Day?
Because they're tone
I
deaf?
mean, screw.
I mean, it was
Columbus.
92.
Yeah.
I mean, Columbus Day does have a lot of plague associations.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And
STD, because it turns out that syphilis was not present on Earth before the Columbian Exchange.
Well,
it wasn't known on either landmass, which is really, really weird.
And like AIDS was basically caused because of colonialization as well.
I thought it was cutting down trees.
Yes, which is a part of colonialization, and it drove people
Right.
away. Yeah. So,
Right. But syphilis. I mean,
I don't
I didn't
believe
know
that
about
syphilis
syphilis.
didn't
That's
exist.
amazing.
Like from a manatee or what? I mean,
well, they did mistake them for mermaids a lot.
Right.
So that
I
is
need us
a
to check
very-
with ancient Rome about
Is
if
it-
syphilis existed or not, because I'm pretty sure it did.
Yeah.
Maybe it's gonorrhea. I don't know. We got a lot of new diseases in the Columbian Exchange. Everyone did. What baseball skipper was named National League Manager of the Year?
Jimmy Stewart.
I don't. That's not an answer I'm gonna know.
Because it's 1992. I'm gonna say Tommy Lasorda.
Oh.
Because he was big in the 90s.
I'm gonna say Tony Hawk.
What?
Sean
That's-
White.
O.J. Simpson.
These are all really amazing guesses. We are so good at trivia, everyone.
Thank you.
And the last question on the card. What day of the week, according to a new study, are humans most likely to suffer heart attacks?
Monday.
Wednesdays.
Mondays.
I'm going to say Friday.
Saturday night.
Because cocaine was still really big.
Right.
Oh, 1992.
Any
Yeah.
day that it snows. I'm going to say snow days.
I
All right.
mean, Yeah.
Right. That covers both answers.
yeah, because either the shoveling or the
What's
shoveling.
the difference?
All right. So I looked this up.
You're
And-
not allowed to do that.
No, not that one. Endemic
About syphilis?
syphilis.
Okay.
Endemic syphilis started around 3000 BC.
So it must have been
however-
gonorrhea. Oh wait, go ahead.
Yeah, it might have been. However, it was not present in ancient Egypt, which had a very low rate of STDs.
Hmm.
I didn't actually read the whole article to find out why.
Thank you, Johnny O Twitch.
So,
All right. It is time for the answers.
Oh boy.
AIDS, A Christmas Carol, George Bush,
oh,
H.
Oh.
AIDS Memorial Quilt,
we got that one.
Jim Leyland,
We got that one.
and Monday.
Ah.
Monday. You don't
Because
want
they'd
to
rather die than go to
or
work.
die. Yeah, you just drop dead instead of going to work. That's one way to get out of it.
The 90s.
All right, it was fun. I showed off my map. Somebody
Bye.
asked when Gablonia is coming back.
March?
March. So, we have to hit this deadline from the printer, which got bumped up a month because of supply chain issues and yada, yada, yada. Basically said, if you can get it to us by this date, we might be able to hit the date you told the backers we could ship. And I don't know if we're going to hit it or not, but Keith and I are really trying hard. And my son, who's 11 years old, was cast in the next big Ballet Met production of Giselle.
Cool.
He is a dancer. So we are at ballet essentially every night of every week until the middle of February. And then there's 3 conventions. So after all that's done, we're going to bring Gablonia back. So
You're going to be a ballet stage mother.
Yeah, I already did that with Alice because he was in Alice 2 years ago. And then the coronavirus knocked no kids performing with the professional company until recently, Nutcracker, but he was too young to get his vaccine then, so he couldn't be in Nutcracker because everybody had to be vaccinated. But yeah, I was a stage dad backstage for, and this is a professional ballet company. I was backstage for Alice. He was a hedgehog, and I almost made the mistake of, I love this. Why did I leave it? I should go back into professional theater and be a stage manager. And then I was like, no, I'm crazy. I'm going to keep writing books and making games.
It almost got you.
No, it almost got me. It almost roped me in. And I was like, nope, I can live through him every year, go for 2 weeks and relive that period of my life and then be done and move on. So.
Well, you kind of have to stage manage us in Gablonia.
Sort of. Yeah.
You do keep handing us props.
Yeah.
Whose fault is it, Robert? Whose fault?
It's
Yeah.
Chat's fault.
I learned my lesson very early in my career, though. I will never turn someone's light on for them. I plugged in a light on stage that somebody had left unplugged and got chewed out.
Yeah, that's ooh.
Yep. Not like not a theatrical light. It was a set dressing light that needed to be turned on, and somebody had forgotten. In my pre-show sweep, I was like, "Wait, that's unplugged. They're not going to be able to switch it on when they do the business. It's not going to work. Let's make sure that's plugged in." And then I got kicked out because the correct thing for me to do was to go find the union electrician and tell them to plug it in.
Definitely.
Yeah. So because I don't want to take a job away from somebody. That's kind of what it came down to is, yeah, this one's silly, but if you let this one go, then the next time and the next time, and suddenly you're doing the electrician's job and nobody's paying you for it, and he's sitting back there and they'll hire him. So no, it's all good, but it won't turn into
an intern to do that.
Right. Yeah, right. That was the thing. As the equity stage manager, I didn't touch anything after that. It was the assistants and the intern. Hey, go find the electrician. And if you can't, make sure that light's plugged in before we go. All right. You all have fun. I gotta go.
Bye. Thank you, Robert.
Bye.
But I actually just got hired by an online immersive show.
Yes.
So I should probably plug that.
Yeah,
Wow.
tell me about it.
We have audience. It's called Thicket. And it's all about finding stories, interacting with the stories, and trying to shift them. It's actually the 3rd season, so there's like a lot of backstory that I'm still learning. Don't tell the players. But if anyone wants to know more or is possibly interested, the link is thicketquest.com. I just threw it in the chat.
And you can play it from anywhere.
Oh, yes. Although they are the very final quest of this season, if it is safe to do it, will be hybrid live virtual. So there will
Cool.
be a way to play if you're not in the Philadelphia area, but it might still be everything's still up in the air because first COVID needs to decrease.
Yeah.
And that's not until like March.
That's so cool.
Speaking of which, I'll be up in Philly in April. Can I stay at your house?
Yes.
We'll talk about it. But yeah, I'm performing a wedding up in
Oh,
Philly.
nice.
Yeah, and I found out that I have dead people in cemeteries there. I had no idea that I had old family in Philadelphia. My
nice.
Irish emigrators. So I'm gonna go find some graves.
Cool.
And marry some people, life and death, marriages and funerals.
That's lovely. What a successful ministry.
Right?
Alpha and Omega.
Alpha and Omega.
Do you know what cemetery?
It's not the big pretty one. it's oh, actually I might have a note right next to me about it. I like fell way down into the weeds when I was doing the like because like in America there's like Find a Grave and Ancestry.com and like census information, which will only get you so far for free. And then but Ireland, like the government sponsors the heritage information. So you can go online and like find where your people are from and where they were baptized and like actually look at images of their birth certificates and stuff like that for free. So that was interesting. But I learned that my great-grandfather was an iron molder. He was part of the Union in Philadelphia, and he was buried at New Cathedral Cemetery, which is over in Germantown. Is that a neighborhood?
Oh yeah, Germantown's definitely a neighborhood.
I think it's over in that quadrant of the city.
It's a super lovely neighborhood that is a pain in the butt to get to.
Yeah.
Great. Good thing I'll be driving.
Direct routes to Germantown at all from anywhere.
All surface streets.
Yeah, New Cathedral Cemetery is where he is.
Cool.
So I'll be doing, and you know where the wedding is, Cubby? Media.
What?
No way.
Right where I am.
Yeah, I know. That's why I mentioned it. I buried the lead.
Well, that explains why you want to stay with me instead of Melissa.
Yeah, I know. Gonna make a whole thing out of it. I'm excited for Thicket. Is it a game or is it a show?
It is a show and a game.
Okay.
It is there are three. So the story is that once upon a time there was a princess who was able to get Death and I think another psychopomp to give her the book of stories, which if you read all of the stories, they'll teach you, everything you need about the world. But over the eons or however long it's been, because it's a story world, so, time, pages have been lost, stories have gone wild. So you're one of the three departments that are trying to find and fix the stories.
Interesting.
You're either the Department of Confidence, the Department of Relationships, or the Department of Knowledge, with a strong ethos to each, because the stories dictate reality. So if you can shift the stories in a way that's better for your department, you will shift reality to a way that's better for your department. And now going into the third season, the princess is missing. The secretary is gone. Jack has taken over.
That guy.
The Jack. You know, the one all the stories are about.
That guy.
Yeah, so generally, can you trust a Jack?
Nope.
It's a good question. And so
Are you playing Jack?
no, I'm one of the characters in the story. So every session, they're briefed by their department head and they go into the story world. They only have an hour in the story world to like meet the characters of the story that's happening and help them find their solutions and then kind of help rewrite the story itself. I'm very unpracticed at describing it.
No, it sounds amazing.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah.
It is like I'm hoping I'm doing it justice because it's incredibly brilliant and like it's there's so many incredibly talented people. Like actually rehearsal is happening right now. I'm actually missing it to be here.
Whoa.
But they knew because it was a conflict. But I made like the first hour and all of the actors are amazing. And there's like this incredible artist who's part of the company. So like everything looks so good when we get to our virtual world. And oh, that's another thing. There's a virtual world where now, Shoshi, I know you're familiar with this idea because you've what's that called? What's the
Sherwood and
Sherwood
Nottingham?
What do they use?
They used Gather.
Gather. Because
Gathertown? Is it still called Gathertown?
Gathertown, yeah.
Topia.
Oh yeah, that's the other one. Not
Yeah.
21 used Topia.
Yeah.
Like a year or two ago when it was first
Oh, that's cool.
trying stuff out.
Well, the fun thing is Thicket was a very early adopter, so they've actually had like a lot of meetings with the Topia team.
Awesome.
On how it's been working. So Thicket has like been in communication with Topia, helping like develop it.
That sounds awesome.
Awesome.
So
Heck
and
yeah.
for anyone unfamiliar, in Topia, it's browser enabled and you have a little character that you can move around. And you know, if my character gets within a certain distance of Shoshi's character, our video feeds start for each other. So if our characters are close enough, we can see and hear each other, but we can wander around, and it's really delightful. It's Topia is really cute looking. Like I love that little like pixely look.
The 8-bit, the 16-bit.
That's Gathertown is very like for your original Zelda, like 16-bit.
I love that book, but Topia is all like drawn.
Oh, that's really cool.
Oh,
I love that. That's awesome.
All right.
It's gorgeous. And wicked clever. If only you had time to play this game.
Oh yeah, you would love it.
You would find out how right or wrong you are.
Ooh. Goodness. Can I tell you about the new job that I just started that's also an immersive performance space? So here in Richmond, there's a space opening up called Reveille, and it is an immersive art experience. It is not an escape room, it's an escapist room. So instead of doing puzzles that get you out of a locked space or a dangerous scenario, you actually get to play with tools and media that allow you to experience or make things. And so like it's but it's inside of a narrative of a secret society called the Reveille Society. And so it's pretty cool. It's still like forming its legs underneath it. We're still in beta testing, but we should be opening, I think, next week. So we've done a lot of cool stuff and I'm excited about it. And I think it could be really cool, especially since we're going to push the narrative pretty hard. So
That's so cool.
to me, that means like we can have maybe visiting artists who like stop by every like once a month, and we have like an extra heavy story day, because there's like it's every hour on the hour essentially. Like another group of people come in and there are 8 different experiences that they could do. Like there's a tattoo section, there's a ceramics section, there's an animation section, there's a Rorschach section. Like there's all of these different cool things that you can do, and you have this like limited moment to do them. And the Revelay Society is there to watch how you make. And it is kind of a dive into what is human creativity. It's the last unquantifiable frontier. So
That sounds super fun.
it's fun, and people have been liking it so far, but there's just, a lot of tweaks, and I love that I'm working for a company that is really interested in listening to what people have to say and what they want and what works for them, and then they change and they listen and they go, okay, if not that, then that, instead of like, we have this idea and if the public doesn't like it, then they don't get our art. But it's pretty cool.
It's all in the virtual space?
No, it's live.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it's live.
Cool.
So it's a beautiful, they've like transformed the space in Carytown, which is a popular tourist area of Richmond, with
Near
like
the
lots of shops and food
university.
and stuff. And near the museums. And so you actually go and you like go into this space that is just like so beautiful and so a little like threatening, but in a kind of mysterious way and a beguiling way, and not in a like, I don't want to be here kind of way. So there's a lot of mystery. The word I'm using for it is beguilement. We want to
That sounds really cool.
beguile you.
So what's the name of it again?
It's called Revelay, Reveler. And you can Google it and see where it's at, but it's not fully cooked yet. We're nearly there.
All right. Well,
nearly there.
Hopefully you'll be able to drop by a future C&C with C&C to give us an update, let us know it's live, and anyone who is not far from Richmond, I'd say anyone within day trip distance is probably going to want to check that out.
Oh, yeah.
And to answer the question, Wicked Clever, you do not have to be in Philly. The team is looking into developing a hybrid virtual reel for the finale of the season, but I believe they are taking great care that anyone who's too far away to travel will still be able to fully participate in that session.
Cool.
That's nice of them. That's where we're at right now with theater, frankly, is figuring out how to be smart enough to deal with not being able to have people in a physical space, but not betray the in-person experience.
Right.
As like, oh, we don't have to do it that way. We can do it all digital. It's like, but people want it, and it's a different place. It's a different experience. Those are different tools.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of art makers and theater companies have, like, in the pandemic have basically discovered all of these new skills and solutions. And like, I really love every time I'm talking with art makers and they're like, well, we're not getting rid of these. They're good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have a slight art update.
Oh,
yes, please.
About Kumihimo.
Ooh.
So there's a thing you can buy, which I purchased, which is a handle for the Kumihimo disc. This does not fit my handmade Kumihimo disc, but my rainbow disc, which is that one, because I'm making a pretty rainbow on it.
Oh, look how good that looks.
I recently put in like started using larger bobbins so I could use more thread, and it's a bit unwieldy. But like all of us, every single time I'm at the grocery store, I do a sweep of the produce section to see if all of the little bags are gone and there are any of the plastic spools just hanging around. And if there are, I grab them because they're very useful for crafting. And Trader Joe's has really nice red ones that just so happen to perfectly fit. And it's nice and snug. And now I have a handle to hold.
Awesome.
That is so great.
And then it just goes down through the handle.
Yeah, exactly, because it's
brilliant. Heck yeah. That's very cool.
And also, for anyone who's like, but what else could you use those tubes for? They also make really great kazoos.
Yes, they do.
This is my standard homemade kazoo design. It's a double Merleton, and no, here's the thing. You know, you take a regular old kazoo. This one's kind of neat because it looks like it's corn.
It does.
I found, like, the exit hole. If you've been using a kazoo for a while, you have enough control over your breath that there's not extra breath that really needs to escape. So usually when I play a kazoo like that, I'll put a finger over it because as soon as you plug that up, it gets louder. So when I make a kazoo, it's just got one hole because the air does not need to escape if you know what you're doing. And also, if you're really good at kazooing, a double Merleton just really helps the loudness.
I am one of the people with one of your kazoos, and I do love it.
I love it as well.
Nice.
Wait, Shoshi, did I make you a kazoo yet?
Yes, and I have it. It's actually in my backpack.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I just always have it, and then.
Yep.
Well, I have here my 14-karat gold kazoo.
Ooh.
Nice.
It's
I find it useful to always have one in the pocket of a coat.
Oh yeah.
I keep one in my day-to-day bag for emergency use. It's not one I've made myself. I should probably upgrade it.
You know, I realized that we never asked what Shoshi was making.
Well, I'm so glad you didn't because I'm not actually making anything right now.
Oh God.
So I've been working on this dragon show. We had previews last weekend. Basically all of my crafting for the last 3 months has been involved doing dragon show stuff, and now we've done previews. The show's ready to go. There's nothing more I have to do, so I'm sort of at a loss. I don't know. You know when you work super super hard at something and then now you're done and now you're like, what do I do now? Rest? Self-care? That sounds crazy.
That's when the depression creeps in again.
Right. I spent a lot of time getting this adrenaline rush going. I'm not just gonna come down from that high. No, actually I've been pretty good lately at taking time and resting and things. I'm very proud of myself for that.
Good.
Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do next. Probably more Shrinky Dinks.
Oh, speaking of which, did you finish those earrings?
No, I did not.
Well,
I cut out all the pieces, but I need a hole puncher to make sure there's holes in it so I can connect them all. And I left my hole puncher at the set, and I don't know where it is, so I haven't finished them yet because I can't find my hole puncher.
Oh no.
Yeah, but I will eventually get them and then make those earrings and show them off. I could work on the layout for Goblonia.
Or indexing.
What's indexing? What do you mean? I love indexing. Do you mean like the index of the book? That sounds like so much fun.
Is it just a standard hole punch?
Yeah, just a standard one. Like I have it. I just haven't brought it home.
You should take a train ride and steal the conductor's train punch, because that's different shapes.
Ooh. Well, you can get at like craft stores. They have ones that are like a heart shape and a star and different shapes, which is pretty
And then you don't have to risk being killed by a conductor.
right. Well,
George Carlin was a conductor. I would not fuck with him.
With Shrinky Dinks, a standard hole punch shrinks down to just the perfect size for like a ring connector or an earring thing or a little. So that's kind of the perfect size.
So it's like the 3-hole punch, but it's the 1 punch.
Exactly. Yeah, and the plastic that you use is so brittle. You can't really like. It's not where like I could take scissors and like make a hole. That would just make it crack. You really do need the hole puncher.
And indexing is indeed building the index for the book.
Yeah, you want? Sure.
Why not?
I mean, it'll be an index with how my brain works. So.
Have you made water bottle charms yet?
No, but that's a really great idea. I could do that. Or like little glass charms for a wine glass or something like that. Or that's a really great idea. I should think about that.
For like parties.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You could give everyone a little charm at parties and be like, take it home.
Take it home.
It goes on your wine glass, but you can keep it. Because
you
that's
can keep
your
it.
little party charm.
Because I'm so charming.
Here in Richmond, some friends and I are founding the Richmond Fae Federation, also known as the Federation. And we're going to be doing a bunch of projects like that to like, hey, let's have a play date essentially of like, let's hang and do something crafty and fun. But it's under the auspices of like helping with river cleanup or cemetery cleanup or pollinator work or like using trash to turn into something cool and lovely that you can take with you. And like, maybe it'll end up being a fairy festival, but for the most part, we're just like, no pressure. We just want to hang out with each other and like run around as our fae personas and like do something for the land that we're on. So
nice.
I have a thing in my head about having gossamer bat wings. Don't know where that's gonna go, but I think it might be connected to my Goodwill fairy idea. I'm not sure. It's all a big mishmash in my head at the moment.
Yeah.
And I'm already have a goblin persona who's like extremely well established. So I could always show up as my goblin Clamwell.
Good goblin name.
Thank you. I Clamwell.
Very good.
I have an ogre I've been working on.
Oh yeah?
One day I'll finish that. And then if I'm in Richmond, I can join in.
Then you can come down for the whatever is happening. You can just visit, stay with me, and dress up like a fae creature and come and hang. Tea parties. And
You do know each other? Carmel and
Robert.
But Clamwell knows you. Robert knows Carmel as Clamwell. Is that real?
Robert Turk?
Yeah.
Or different Robert?
No,
yeah, Robert,
Turk.
who was just here.
Did you really think you didn't know who I was, Robert?
No, but he knows Clamwell. You're a goblin.
Yeah, I've known you for years. We have stayed in cabins together.
I mean,
You didn't know who I was?
in Robert's defense, he did mention about his book deadline getting pushed up by a month.
Okay.
I imagine when Robert wakes up in the morning and he looks at his wife and he's like, "You're familiar. We met."
I know you from somewhere.
Yes,
So he was like, "I know
am
you,
Clamwell.
but
From the New York
Clamwell-
Fairy Festival, I believe, is where one of the first places we overlapped.
Amazing.
The New York Fairy Festival.
So it wasn't high school after all."
Oh my goodness. I've been in meetings with you for Nat 21 as myself. This is humbling. Can I use the last, because I'm like tapped on this sewing project situation. Can I use the last of our moments to do my unboxing?
Oh yeah, I forgot you had an unboxing.
Oh,
Ta-da!
you have an unboxing, do you?
What? You got one too! Huzzah! This is the Oracle of Assumption. It is an oracle deck by one Stephen Warwick, also known as Stove Offenmitz.
Yeah.
He has been working on this oracle deck for 10 years, and the first year and a half of of quarantine allowed him to finish it. But it's pretty freaking cool.
Beautiful.
It's surreal, and it's got 42 cards. This is the Fish King. I love this. Always makes me think of the quote from The Ref, I think, is the movie where they talk about fish boots. He's like, "My boots are made out of stingray," and they're like, "We wearing fish boots?" It's like, "No, they're stingray. Well, it's fish boots."
Yeah, and then
like,
and he couldn't get his boots wet.
Couldn't get his boots wet, yeah. Or like, here's the Dodo King. There's a set of kings, and then there's these elemental cards, which are cool, and it's got this cool background to it. It's like
those are so cool.
They're really, really cool. He's also got these really like terrifying and beautiful black cards.
Ooh.
That are for the other.
I like monochrome. That's cool.
The other side.
Are they lithographs or not lithographs? Are they?
No,
that's what I'm thinking.
They are beautiful digital prints, but like,
oh, cool.
Let's get another weird one. I love this one. I have this one on my fridge actually.
Oh, nice.
Or this one, this might make you uncomfortable. Warning. Salamander. So like, they're all pretty freaking cool, and they're just so gorgeous.
Wow.
Like, this color saturation is really, really cool.
Oh, whoa. Which one is that one, Cubby? What's that one called?
Loss.
Love. Oh, that's love.
Love and loss.
Loss. Cool. Oh, beautiful.
So they've got like, oh, I love this one. The moon. It's the doe with the human baby.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that moon. Look at her. She's so pretty. Yeah, it's just like there's some like, oh, this one's a fave. Boop.
Oh, yeah. I was just looking at that and being like, sure, she needs to
it's got that new card smell. The like, ooh. This one. It's the reef card. So like they all mean something. They all have reversals, and this one's great. I have a lot of pride about this one because this one looks like the ship from my Journey to the Kingdom of Hypnos show. That's actually what inspired it.
Oh, cool.
So that Chinese junk with those red sails, I just friggin' love it.
Cool.
But it's, I mean, they're extremely well thought out. He's actually writing a guide to go with them. Like, there's this tiny little, like, fold out, like, what do they mean?
Oh, awesome.
But he's actually writing a guide right now that's more like a book, and they all have a mini story about each card, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, that's great.
But like, what have I got in front of me? Hindrance. This is what hindrance looks like.
Oh.
And it means getting in the way of one's own goals, tripping over oneself, one's actions and words defeating their own purpose. And if you were to get it reversed, feeling like others are succeeding while one is failing, being envious of others. So there's some really like naturally positive and some naturally negative ones in here, but they're all really cool.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
He says assumptions, the gimmick of like what is the definition of assumption, but to assume something, what does it say? It's on the box. A thing that is accepted as true or as certain to happen, or the action of taking on power or responsibility. So
or also, isn't that when Mary rose back up to heaven?
The Assumption, the Feast of the Assumption. Absolutely. That's the whole thing, is like it's like a rising to power. So this is a really cool deck. And
when you make an ass out of Ume.
That's right. You don't want to do that. Or do you want to do that? But I am excited.
That was very cool. Thank you.
I'm excited to play with these.
That.
I think he's doing another run of them, but you should check out. I'll just send I think they're all sold out. But did you do a pre-order, Cubby?
Oh yeah. No,
of course you did.
I've been loving the drawings ever since I've like met Steven. And so when he finished and released it, I was like, yeah, I want that. I don't believe in anything. They're just very, very pretty.
Yeah.
I mean, just because I don't believe that cards, dice, random things will give us any insight into what is to come doesn't mean I don't love the aesthetics of it. I actually have them right next to this set of cast metal pentacles.
Whoa.
That I did a Kickstarter on.
Right. You love those things. You're like, it's like a habit.
Yeah. They're just very, very beautiful.
That's the link to the Indiegogo that's already closed, but it's just a good jumping off point if you want to see more and if he's going to do another run.
And then also is there a link for the show, the new job that you have, or that it's not open yet?
It's not open yet, but there is a website and I will get it right now. Reveler. It's Reveler, but it's Reveille.
Sir Whitebet, I agree with you.
What does he say?
I mean,
but are not our psyches the universe?
Here's the thing. I also have a very poor view of our psyches. So it's like, oh, you can find out what you're really thinking. I've seen what my thoughts are like. They're awful. And frankly, I don't need a deeper level of thoughts. It's fluff and nonsense up here.
I don't think it's nonsense. It's definitely fluff.
Because it's soft and cushiony. That's true. That's
true, Johnny O'Twitch. It was a mistake for Carmel to even admit to being Clamwell.
Mm-hmm.
In hindsight.
I mean, it's just me painted green.
Aww.
Just what they say, like it's clown is just us ourselves turned up to 11. That's what goblins are.
Well, that's.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Cubby, talk
you
about
you have 5 minutes for this rant. Do it.
We don't end on time around here. If you need to leave at 2, like, just don't wait for us to like bring the show to a natural conclusion, because we're gonna be going to like 2:15, maybe 2. We'll see. It really depends on how much fun we're having.
Give us the business. You're about to clown plane.
Clown.
Well, I love
clown plane.
Clown plane. Counts. Well, I mean, I love clown work and I love clown creation process and investigations. And I consider all of the acting I do to be an extension of clown work. But there's so many wonderful ways to discover a clown or meet or find your clown because you don't have one clown. And my absolute favorite clown process involved taking everything that was unique about your physicality and ramping that up so that any small twitch you have in, if you swing your arms just a little bit, then gradually as you like ramp it up, soon you'll be like swinging your arms all wildly, and then you get to discover who would do that. So you start acting like this clown, and then you find out who the clown is, and it's based on you, but not on you. But also, I've heard it said that your clown is what people say about you behind your back.
Ooh.
Which is another incredible, and
Yeah.
that's definitely a darker clown. That's almost getting into like Buffon territory.
Not if people talk good about you behind your back.
Oh,
All right. Well, then, for example, let's say it's Shoshi. So it wouldn't be a good clown.
No.
oh.
Which I can only say because you're here, because it's no fun to insult you behind your back.
No, I would be you'd miss out.
Yeah. Actually, oh shoot, when I'm behind your back, I only say nice things about you.
That's what her clown is.
That's why I'm a bad clown.
Well, then your clown is what we tell you to your face, Shoshi.
Oh. Yay.
Oh my goodness.
There are, but I don't believe scary clowns are really a component part of the red nose tradition. That's really just a different aesthetic.
I worked at a theme park over the autumn, and they had a basically, you know, a haunt. It's a very famous haunt, but there is a carnival section which leans very heavily on calorophobia. And so I think it's lazy, personally, to just dress people in scary clown costumes and station them in a spot and just let people continue to be afraid of them. Like, I don't know. I just think it's lazy, and I think it's a little irresponsible, frankly, because there are people, like, I don't know if y'all remember, but a few years ago, there were people who like work as clowns full time who were getting assaulted because there was that whole like go out there and punch a clown, go out there and assault a clown trend that was happening.
Yeah.
And the world has only gotten weirder and more violent about like, well, the internet told me to, so I'm going to go do it. So.
Right. And what's so amazing about clowns is that they're like, oh, the world is weird. I guess I better be weird too. But in the best way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel very privileged to know a lot of clowns.
Yeah. I feel the same way.
All sorts of clowns. I'm friends with somebody who actually went to clown college.
Ooh.
Barnum and Bailey too. I'm not just calling Del Arte.
Yeah.
Clown college, which
Me
is
too.
fair. Because it basically is a master's degree in being a clown. In the best way possible.
So expensive. I definitely looked into it personally.
Yeah, like I would love to go to Blue Lake and do the program, but I also don't feel like I'm worth it. So I don't believe in myself at all.
Do you want us to fight you about this?
No, I'm just saying, like, it's hard to invest money in like my skills because it's like, yeah, but isn't it just a waste? So
Depends on what you want to do with it.
I keep finding a way to do the things.
Can they teach you something that will help you do what you do better in a more sustainable way? Will it secure more income? Will it secure more jobs? Will it secure for you? Will it actually make you better at what you do in a way that allows you to do what you do more and and more securely. If it won't, don't go, because
It
you're
won't.
already fucking good at what you do.
Well, it won't, because the problem I have with my problem really is me. Like, is that faith in myself and just like honestly really knowing how to like meet the right people and network and stuff like that. So my limitations are more practical.
I think something just happened over in Shoshlandia.
So this is a really lovely thing, Sir Whitebat. Thank you for sharing it.
Sorry, I heard a crashing noise and I had to see if everything was okay, and it is.
I was wondering.
Yeah, I was like, I gotta go check that out, but everything's fine. Yeah, but see, the problem is that Cubby would look in the mirror and he'd be like, "Oh, it's Shoshi. Ah, you stupid dum-dum." Well, and then it just doesn't work.
And then I'd be like, Shoshi, why do you have my face? This is weird. You are mimicking me exactly. What is going on?
Well, as a person who met you at a clown workshop, a week-long clown workshop.
That's right.
Years ago, it was a very formative time. I would say that you're definitely worth it. But I also know and have seen you since then and in that space of how you learn. And I don't think that they're going to give you anything that you don't already have other than permission. So if permission is what you need, maybe they've got it. But I also could give you permission. I give you permission.
Look, I appreciate what you're doing, Carmel, but like the thing is Cubby, if he ever were to know how good he actually is, he would be too powerful. So we have to like keep him down at a regular level.
Is this your evil plan, Shoshi?
This is Cubby we're talking about, Shoshi, not Shoshi. I know you're confused because of that one time you were wearing my face.
You get confused sometimes with that.
In my mirror.
Yeah. There was like a bright light and this weird warp sound, and I just like stuck my head through the warp, and there I was in your mirror.
I mean, if you see a hole in reality, you should probably stick your face
through
in
it. You gotta
go
through it.
Origin, that is?
Is it Doom? Von Doom?
Dr. Doom. Okay, first of all, Victor Von Doom does not have an doctorate. He is not Dr. Doom. He is Mr. Doom. And his villain origin is that he built a portal to hell because he was convinced his mother went to hell.
In his dorm room.
In his dorm room at college, which is why he doesn't have a doctorate. And when it exploded and scarred his face, he blamed the guy who lived down the hall from him and vowed revenge. And later, that guy became the superhero Mr. Fantastic, who has several doctorates.
And yet goes by Mr.
Yeah, he's Mr. Fantastic, and he has like 10 doctorates, and then his enemy, Dr. Doom, doesn't.
Not actually a doctor.
Very confusing.
I said I wasn't doing crafts, but I had this ball of twine next to me, and while you were telling that story, I made a little ring for myself.
Well, technically, I'm sure he has an honorary doctorate from the University of Latveria. Because he does rule that country with literally an iron fist.
So he could just gift himself.
Yeah.
How did that happen? Did he inherit it?
Not really.
Okay.
He has like an ancestral claim to it, but he conquered it.
Okay.
But
Was
there's
this
enough of
before-
a claim.
This was after the face Doom.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
He was just a full-time student when he built a portal to hell to stick his face in. He built a port. It was only this big, so he was like, "Oh well, I can't travel to hell. Let me just stick my head in here and look around." And somehow that went poorly.
I mean, I can't disagree with his actions or his logic, though. Space scientist.
I don't know that he was even a scientist in the movie. Wasn't he just the money guy?
Which movie?
Well, he's talking about the movie Fantastic Four, not Fant Four Stick.
Whenever I think about Fantastic Four, I think about your idea, Cubby, that you had to dress as Galactus. Let's go. I don't want to tell it. You tell the idea.
So I have a couple of cosplay dreams, and one is that I dress as Galactus, the Devourer of Worlds, and I walk to the snack area, and I yell, "I hunger!" And then a friend of mine is dressed like the Silver Surfer, will run around stealing French fries.
Or on roller skates.
Well, then it's getting into Dazzler territory.
Okay, then on a
Silver
little
skateboard
scooter, one of those lime scooters.
I mean, as long as it's silver.
Right.
Yes.
And
That's a
steal
brilliant idea.
French fries for you.
They just scoot around.
It's great because who's not gonna give a French fry to Silver Surfer for Galactus? Like,
exactly.
They can't
They'll
be upset
love it.
about that.
And I'll get to eat for free.
That's a very good point.
Okay, that's interesting. Well, then I guess we can call him Dr. Doom in the first movie, second movie. Because he did go into space, but in Fant Four Stick, he traveled dimensions.
Uh-huh.
So I wonder if that's the same with dimensions, Johnny O'Twitch.
Oh, you know what? That's interesting. So like in the multiverse, could you just go to another universe and then you get a doctorate?
I mean, I guess you could, it's just a question of whether you can. I mean, when you've got a death ray, you can call yourself doctor.
I mean, if you have a death ray, people will call you whatever you tell them to.
Yeah, exactly. I believe he did not find his mother when the portal to hell exploded on his head, but also I think ultimately she wasn't even in hell. So, like, he should have had more faith.
Well, that's a lesson for us all.
Wait, was that Falwell University?
I believe you mean Liberty University. Isn't that what it's called?
Excuse me, Dr. Pibb is his name. And he always clarifies to make it crystal clear that he is Mr. Dr. Pibb. And that his enemy, sadly, is Dr. Mr. Pepper. Because he is not accredited, and yet the woeful braggart that is Pepper somehow was awarded a Goblonian doctorate.
Mm.
Well, it all makes perfect sense.
Dr. Doom was a heck of a mama's boy. He wanted to rescue her from hell, which is probably why he convinced himself she was in hell.
Because he knew he could build a portal to hell. But he couldn't build a portal to heaven.
Where is the vending machine?
A portal to hell?
Yeah, I
Vending
believe
machines?
traditionally you can only access heaven through a stairwell or a ladder.
Oh,
But if it glitters, that does not necessarily mean that it is gold.
mm. Actually, gold doesn't really glitter at all.
Well, then you pass.
Yeah.
You're a woman who knows all that glitters not gold. Or is it, or does she know it is gold?
All the machine. No, I don't know.
You know what I think we need right now? We need to either real quick look
Uh-huh.
at some dice or a trivia card.
Dice. We haven't looked at dice yet.
All right. So I started to mention these because the most recent dice purchase were 3D printed.
Oh, cool.
And I'm amazed at how good the printing is. It's so smooth, it's so crisp. And these are almost not dice, they're almost fidget spinners.
Whoa. It's like a giant. Wow, that's an insane. Wait, how do you know what number you've rolled? Would that be a 4?
That's a 4.
Okay. Is this a D20?
Sometimes it goes halfway between, and lately I just re-rolled it. Yes, this is a D20, but there's also a D100 and, D10.
Yeah. Those are
And
crazy. I love them.
a D12.
D6. Wow.
And it very conveniently says it on the side.
Nice. Those are cool. Spin
They're-
the D6. Spin the D6.
That's the D6.
And you hold it in the middle.
And then you just...
Cool. 6.
We got a 6!
That's awesome. Those dice are very cool.
And you'll never guess who makes them.
PYE?
Yes.
Who is PYE? What is that?
They make these dice.
Oh, Carmel has to head out.
I do.
Oh,
I have to do other thinky things today with my hands and my
Yeah.
body and my face.
I'm
But-
gonna go. I'm gonna try to fix those shoulder pads.
Great. Tell me how it goes.
I will. I'm very nervous.
Don't worry about it.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure as always. I will see you guys at my show on Monday nights. Climb into bed with me. Last night or 2 nights ago, instead of writing a story together, we actually wrote a country song together.
Aw,
So I know that was funny. I was very tired and I had pressed into loopy territory. So, but come to the Glamour Hobo Bedtime Tales on Monday, everybody. And as usual, Shoshi and Cubby, it is a pleasure to see you both.
oh, it's so good to see you.
Bye.
Bye.
so
Aw.
somebody asked about what's around them. So there are actually 2 designs of these. There's a slightly larger one and a slightly smaller one. The larger one has 10 gears with 4 numbers each. So there's 40 dice, so with the D20 it repeats twice. And the smaller ones have 8 gears with 3 numbers each, so they're 24 numbers. On the D6, that means it repeats each number 4 times. On the D4, each number 6 times. On the D12, it repeats twice. And so on and so forth, which is the only thing that's a little, I mean, they're very fun, but then when you think about it, it's basically just having like a wheel with 24 numbers because it's always the same order of results. But also, if you spin it enough, it doesn't matter.
That's cool. Those are really interesting.
Yes, and thanks to Ginormous Unicorn for telling me about them.
Mm.
I found out about those right here on this show.
So I also need to be heading out soon. Should we do one more trivia and then we'll end our day?
Yes, that sounds like a wonderful note to end on. Thank you. Technically, the D100 is 2 D40s because it's like the 10-sided dice. So each of them, it's an aughts die with like the zeros on it. But it does still give you fairly fair results. And now back to the year 1992. What twosome met for the first time the day after George Bush welcomed Bill Clinton to the White House?
What twosome? 1992 political twosome.
I mean, is it just gonna be Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky?
Oh geez. No, because had that happened yet in 92?
Well, it was the day after George Bush welcomed Bill Clinton to the White House. It could have been Barbara Bush and Hillary Clinton.
No. I don't remember that being like a twosome. I don't know. I was so young then. I don't remember what was happening in the world.
I mean, 92 seems kind of late for Fresh Prince and DJ Jazzy Jeff because...
Yeah, they definitely already knew each other.
Yeah, even in the continuity of the series...
Yeah.
They were old... Jeff was his old friend from Philadelphia.
Yeah, so... Yeah. I don't know.
I think I'm just going with Bill and Monica.
Okay. I don't know if I'd call that a twosome.
What singer's sister, Laura, penned the memoir Love, Janice?
Janis Joplin?
It's gotta be, right?
Yeah.
What automaker announced its losses for 1991 were a record $4.5 billion?
So say that again?
What automaker announced its losses for 1991 were a record $4.5 billion?
Ford.
I do feel like it's one of the big Americans. Yugo is a really good guess, though.
Is it Chevrolet?
I feel like it might be GM.
It might. Yes, I think you're right. I think it's GM.
GM had big troubles in the early 90s.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. GM, Pontiac is GM, isn't it?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
So
I say that like I know.
That's maybe a good guess. Probably. It seems good.
It's a hard one.
What Russian privately penned Bill Clinton as too young and too much of a socialist before the U.S. election?
Putin.
I mean, Putin was behind the scenes, but he wasn't in the mix in the early 90s.
Yeah.
So it was probably either Gorbachev or Yeltsin.
Oh, Yeltsin, right?
Yeltsin seems like he would he would say something like that.
Yeah. Baryshnikov.
Turns out it was Nabokov.
Oh, so close.
Who became the first baseball manager of the Colorado Rockies?
No idea.
I'm going to say Tommy Lasorda.
Babe
Because he's
Ruth.
the only baseball manager I know. And I don't know if he was a manager. He might have. Is there a difference between coach and manager? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I really don't know. But I'm just going to keep. If they ask about 90s baseball, I'm going to say Tommy Lasorda.
You're going to be right one time.
Probably more than once.
Maybe
He was
you're right.
pretty big in the early 90s.
Some point.
And the last question of this card. What state's high men-to-women ratio caused the On the Loose travel guide to warn, the odds are good, but the goods are odd?
Oh my God. That is a horrible thing to say. The 90s were mean.
No, I've heard that said about that state.
Is it Alaska?
Oh, yeah. I've heard that said about Alaska.
I know, and it's horrible.
I mean, it's got to be Alaska.
Yeah.
But I've heard that exact phrase said about dating in Alaska.
Yeah, I have as well, but yeesh.
So we did pretty good.
Oh, yeah?
If you accept that things we considered count as a right answer for us, you've been told wrong, Wicked Clever, because here's the thing. If you go on a date with Shoshi, the first thing you have to do is spin a roulette wheel and call it.
Mm-hmm.
You have only a 1 in 40 chance of the date happening.
Mm-hmm. The odds are in my favor.
So it turns out it was Barbara Bush and Hillary Clinton. Because the first ladies meet each other the day after the president, I guess. It seems weird. Like, why don't they just share a car ride over?
Well, and also it's weird to call them a twosome.
It is weird to call them a twosome.
That's very weird.
It's, yes.
Yes, exactly, Wicked Clever. Like, that doesn't make sense at all. I don't remember them doing initiatives together or like...
Like, I feel like they should have just said, what, 2 people?
Yes, that would have been way less confusing.
Janis Joplin, General Motors,
Nice.
Boris Yeltsin, Don Baylor. Don Baylor was apparently the first manager of the Colorado Rockies. It was not Babe Ruth. And Alaska.
I just realized that I didn't know, but I sort of dressed very 90s, early 90s for this episode.
That's true. You got kind of a Seattle flair.
Yeah.
I'm not.
No, you've like a Maine woodsman thing going.
Yeah, I'm very LL Bean today.
Yeah, we're both from Portland, but they're different Portlands.
Because I am dressed in corduroy.
Whoa.
Because corduroy is just the best.
I do like corduroy. I like it a lot.
It's great. It's like stripy velvet.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's who you look like.
The Gordon Fisherman?
Yeah.
I think
Nailed it.
I believe Jim Gordon is the commissioner in Batman.
And also runs a fish stick factory. Get me pictures of fishermen. And on that note, we should go. Yes, thank you, Robert. Duh.
Although I think we'd all like more pictures of Spider-Man in our life.
I mean, that's true.
That's fair. Like from a distance, it's pretty hard to see the corduroy ridges. But you're right. We should wrap it up right now. This has been so much fun. Thank you all for joining us.
Yeah. And for continuing to join us week after week with all of our shenanigans. We really appreciate it.
Y'all are turning Wednesday into my favorite day of the week.
Yeah.
So thank you all and have an awesome, I think there is an outro.
Oh, sweet.
Nope. I do not have an outro. So I think we should make up for that little train wreck at the beginning and have a countdown to leave.
Yes, I love it.
When the countdown ends, the show is over. So thank you all and enjoy some numbers.